against not just legislatively, but also through our court system when it comes to their sentencing as well. But this legislation will empower local law enforcement to better protect our communities by cracking down on dangerous illegal firearms. However, this is not a one-stop solution. It's just one piece of a much larger puzzle that we have to solve. I believe if we're truly committed to the safety of our communities, we must approach the issue of gun violence with a comprehensive strategy. That means being preventative as well as on the other side of gun issues that come up far too often around our entire state. So I believe we got to address those critical gaps in the gun laws. For example, a recent bill that would have held parents accountable for failing to prevent their children from bringing guns to school was unfortunately rejected. Laws requiring secure firearms storage are common sense measures that can prevent avoidable tragedies, protect our children, and promote responsible gun ownership. Additionally, I want to address another bill that the legislature is considering that would undermine local control and, I believe, politicize law enforcement and disenfranchise voters. HB 14, or House Bill 14, would strip mayors and city councils of their authority to oversee their own police departments, allowing state officials to take control without local input. It would also give the Attorney General or the governor the power to appoint a police chief, opening the door for political interference in local policing decisions. This bill would also allow state officials to decide when there is a particular and ongoing threat of public safety without clear measurable criteria, leaving room for misuse. Furthermore, I believe local leaders, not distant state leaders, are best positioned to address crime, the trends in public safety, as well as allocate resources and build trust with residents. This bill sets a dangerous precedent where state leaders could override municipal governments, even in well-functioning cities. That, to me, is problematic when it comes to local control and things that are done and should be decided at the local level. Residents elect their local leaders to make decisions about public safety. This bill allows state officials to override those choices. There is no evidence that a state-appointed interim police chief would improve public safety more effectively than local leadership. If a city is deemed non-compliant, it could lose state funding, further weakening public services and local governance. An interim chief reporting to state officials instead of the mayor or council could create operational inefficiencies and accountability issues. Now, I want to turn my attention to some of the exciting developments that are happening right here at the local level coming out of City Hall for not only the residents of the city of Montgomery, but things that we believe will impact the entire region in central Alabama. Last week, we reached a significant milestone for our city and the entire capital city region. Working on the Montgomery Intermodal Container Transfer Facility has been going on for some time. But construction really kicked off with the $94 million Montgomery Intermodal Container Transfer Facility last week. This investment boosts infrastructure, improves our regional economy, is thriving. 7 major companies have committed to over $3 billion in investments in our city. That is significant. When you consider that this brings over 1,400 plus jobs and 2 million square feet, of industrial space, it shows exactly what's happening in this economic footprint. The facility strengthens supply chains, supports manufacturers, and expands global market access via the Port of Mobile. Montgomery's dual gold level CXS select site certifications mark it as a top logistics and industrial hub. And we believe more big wins are coming. Diageo recently announced a $412 million beverage distribution plant for one of our CSX sites in January. Ongoing investments in infrastructure and partnerships keep Montgomery a hub of economic opportunity. And speaking of economic opportunities, not only will Montgomery remain a sports destination, I want to see sports tourism expand. Further details about expanding our convention center space downtown with a multi-purpose arena will come in the near future. But what I can say right now is the city has committed to a market study on the viability of a professional soccer team here in Montgomery. It's important to note that sports drive significant tourism dollars to Montgomery, whether it's events like the Camellia Bowl or the Kickoff Classic, and certainly the Red Tails Classic, as well as Alabama State University's homecoming generates millions of dollars in tax revenue for our city and our region. College football helps fuel local spending on food, lodging, retail, and yes, even alcohol and beverage taxes. All of those are important. The Montgomery Biscuits minor league baseball team draws fans from around this region and around the state, boosting downtown businesses. Youth sports tournaments at facilities like the Multiplex attract out-of-town families year-round, and we're excited about the development working with the YMCA and our regional partners in Elmore County around 17 Springs, and just what that will bring to this area. Sports tourism dollars turn over multiple times, amplifying economic impact. Fishing and outdoor sports leverage the Alabama River, drawing visitors and supporting local outfitters. Jobs in hospitality, retail, and event staffing grow with sports activity. Sports infrastructure, like Crampton Bowl, supports year-round economic activity. That's why we'll be looking to do additional investments in these facilities along with Biscuit Stadium to make sure we keep up with the modern trends of how facilities are moving and just to make sure we are keeping up with deferred maintenance costs of these facilities to improve the overall experience. So partnerships with schools and organizations create a steady stream of sports-related revenue. Montgomery's location and facilities make it a competitive sports destination in the region. However, we know it's not just about sports and tourism. We know that we have to do things here that are relevant to those who live in the city of Montgomery. And that's why affordable and workforce housing has been a major priority for this administration. Last week, in partnership with the Montgomery Housing Authority, and kicking off 60 new affordable housing units downtown. That's just the start of where we want to go. And downtown is not the only place that we plan to do these type of developments. This $20.6 million project is phase 3 of Columbus Square at 500 North Bainbridge Street. Significant investment because what was once a public housing development is now a mixed-use project. And it has been moving along, but not at the pace that they wanted to, and that's where the city stepped in. And that's where we have these partnerships, the relationships that allow us to do things between governmental agencies to help the residents of our city. Completion is set for this time next year in early 2026, and it's a big win for affordable housing in Montgomery's core. The authority started a 9% tax credit from the Alabama Housing Finance Authority to make this happen. They were the only Montgomery project among 16 statewide to get this funding. These units will mix affordable and market rate options for diverse residents. The Housing Authority, born way back in 1939 under President Roosevelt's New Deal, keeps pushing local housing solutions. This builds on past success, phase 1 and phase 2 adding 96 units already. Downtown Montgomery gets a boost in housing and economic vitality through projects like this, which is why we're excited that our housing division for the city of Montgomery has been stood up and will be working in partnership not only with the Housing Authority, but also developers to bring market rate housing throughout our entire city. We want to make sure that if you're working class or if you're any class of individual, you can find the type of housing product right here in our city. That will go on to not only boost our population, but to boost our tax base and our economic output as well. Those things are important to make sure that our small businesses can thrive right here in the city of Montgomery. Now, I want to turn our attention to March. We have a number of exciting events to highlight, so bear with me because it's a roll call, but it's a roll call of very positive events that we have happening here. Just this past weekend, we launched Open on Dexter, an initiative that is already bringing new energy, creativity, and opportunity to downtown Montgomery. Walking along the lower Dexter corridor you'll see local entrepreneurs testing their ideas, artists transforming spaces, and residents and visitors alike engaging with a revitalized downtown. Open on Dexter is more than just a pop-up event, it is a movement. By repurposing vacant spaces, we're not just activating our streets, we're investing in the future of our city. I encourage everyone to visit and support our local creatives and businesses. Montgomery is open for business, Montgomery is open for art, and Montgomery is open on Dexter. This month will also mark the 60th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery Voting Rights March. And this weekend, we'll remember Bloody Sunday in Selma. I want to personally invite everyone to join us from March 21st through March 25th as we honor the bravery, determination, and spirit of those who walked this historic path 6 decades ago. This anniversary is not just about commemorating the past. It's about reflecting on the ongoing struggles for justice, equality, and securing and protecting the right to vote. As we walk in the footsteps of those who marched in 1965, we reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that every voice is heard and every vote counts in our democracy. I encourage you to be a part of this important and meaningful event. Finally, I'm excited to announce an innovation initiative that will allow people to experience Montgomery's historic voting rights trail in a totally different manner. This month, we will launch the Montgomery Metaverse, an immersive digital experience that coincides with the 60th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery March. For the first time, you'll be able to explore the march route digitally, walking in the footsteps of those who fought for justice in 1965. Through this virtual experience, you'll not only explore the sites along the route, but also see Montgomery as it was in 1965, thanks to digital recreations informed by historical photos and documents. This metaverse experience will be accessible from any device with a web browser. So whether that's your smartphone, your Android, iPad, your iPad or whatever it may be, you'll be able to access this. Those joining us in the march will be able to get glimpses of what the march in Montgomery looked like in 1965. For those who cannot join the march in person, you will have the chance to explore history from the comfort of your own home. This initiative is just the beginning. We're exploring ways to use the metaverse for virtual field trips, real estate development, tourism, and even city planning. So I invite you to join us this March for the launch and share this groundbreaking opportunity with family and friends. Together, we will walk through the past and into the future. Thank you for your time, and I'll open up for any questions that you may have at this moment.
Mayor, if you can, talk a little bit about the fact that with the suppression unit, it has been a success in Montgomery. But when you talk about the legislation that's in the legislature right now, was that a concern on the forefront with them coming in that you had because there would potentially be an overreach?
Absolutely. We're always looking out for our residents here in the city of Montgomery, and we believe we're closest to the answers and we're closest to those solutions that are needed that the community wants to bring about. I think the legislature focusing on this without the Big Ten mayors and without the support of the Alabama League of Municipalities as well as law enforcement is problematic. If we're interested in solutions, let's work together. Let's have the conversations in between the annual legislative sessions, and let's see what's working and what's not. What we came up with the Montgomery Area Crime Suppression Unit was thought of right here in Montgomery, locally. We didn't need legislative interaction to bring that about. We're working with our county, state, and federal partners to bring about these results that we saw in the last 6 months of 2024, and what we're continuing to see in the positive numbers in the decline of crimes committed and those attempted throughout this city. That has been because of collaboration and communication that we've been doing right here without any interference from the Alabama legislature, and that's how I think it should be for the city of Montgomery and all of our cities and municipalities around the state. The mayors and the police chiefs and the sheriffs know what's happening. They know best about how to protect and serve their communities. And I think it's best left up to them to make the decisions how things are made and how things are done.
Mayor, one of the things that they pointed to was the fact that the numbers that the city has had. Talk a little bit about, you guys have invested in commercials and other things to try and improve the recruitment numbers. Are the recruitment numbers going up?
Yes, we've invested significant resources in public safety. That's through technology. That's through our Star Watch system. That's through community outreach on the ground, police athletic leagues, reaching out to young people and those who may be on the margins, working with our faith community, working with our grassroots leaders, as well as the unprecedented 39% increase in salary and benefits that Montgomery police officers have received under this administration. Never seen that type of investment in just salary and benefits. And when you combine that with the tens of millions of dollars that we were able to do in terms of equipment, that's significant. It's significant for us because we know all of these things matter for our men and women in blue to be safe, for them to have the best equipment that's needed, but also for the community to feel safe. And so when you look at the outcome of that, in 2024, down 19% in homicides, down about 17% in non-fatal shootings, roughly slightly flat around just overall crimes in the community, but seeing a strong trend downward in the last 6 months. It's been, I believe, a very positive outcome. And when we look at what we have in the first 2 months of this year, that's continuing. And that's because of the investment, that's because of the partnership, that's because of the collaboration between City Hall, our City Council, and the Montgomery Police Department, as well as our Sheriff's Office and other law enforcement partners working with those in the community to really help us achieve a safer Montgomery. And we want to continue that throughout 2025 and beyond. So I think the investment is there. I think the action is there. We've done less talk, more work. And I think that we're seeing the benefits of that as it stands right now. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Well, listen, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for the great work you do in covering the city of Montgomery and all facets in the River region. And we really appreciate all that you all do in the press. Thank you so much.